Good afternoon, good evening, folks. Good morning, wherever you are. This is Tom Sinclair coming to you live from the floor at NAB, specifically the PTZ Optics booth in Central Hall. If you're here in Las Vegas, it's C3326. You want to hang out here. And, you know, the PTZ Optics folks have been tremendous, allowing me to come in and take over their live streaming setup. We've got Michael handling all of the tech geek stuff behind the scenes. Clint and Anthony are here. I see Tess just walked in. Mark's back there on the back row, and it's been an interesting show. It has been a very interesting show. I want to tell you a little bit about it, but also want to give a shout out to those of you that joined me in person and online for the Streaming Idiots meetup last night here at the PTZ Optics booth. It was a blowout gangbuster party. It was a ton of fun. We had wall-to-wall folks. I mean, you could barely get through. It was so much fun. And the thing that gratifies me the most, and I really do appreciate you guys and gals for making it happen, is to be able to meet you in person. I mean, we can correspond by email and chat and Skype and vMix call and all this stuff, but to be able to meet you in person and just, you know, kind of gauge each other, and just it's really special, really special. And so I appreciate all of you that came out in person, and I'm delighted for those of you that came out online. And you know, I want you to come live next year. So go ahead, find out when the dates are, mark your calendars. NAB is going to start on a Monday. It's going to end on a Thursday. Our party's going to be on the Tuesday. So plan on staying over Tuesday night. Not sure what the venue will be. We'll probably have a different venue, something obviously that's live streaming related, because that's what we do and who we are. And you'll want to come. You know, last year Martin Kay came over from Manchester, England, and it was just a treat to have him here, come from so far away. Last night there were folks from here, from all over the U.S. and Canada. And it was just, again, you honored me with your presence, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It was a great party, great party. So let's talk a little bit about NAB this year. NAB this year it's really different than last year. And last year was different from the year before. I'll give you my impressions. Number one, from a from a vMix guy perspective, vMix is going gangbusters. We've got Dan here with us today. Dan apparently had a rough night. He spent the night here at the PTZ Optics booth. So I'm going to take him back to the vMix booth later. But for the last 2 days, the vMix booth has been wall-to-wall, folks. And it has been so much fun to spend all day, every day, talking about one of the things in live streaming that I love the most, which is the vMix software, and get to hang out all day long with Martin and Tim from vMix, and of course Seth and Judith, who are resellers for vMix up in the Washington State area. Excuse me. You guys have any water? The air here in Las Vegas is really, really dry, and so if you're from Alabama, where you know humidity less than 90% is like bone dry, this is you know not very comfortable. Thank you, Melissa. That is the superior intern that PTZ Optics has on their staff, who is doing a fine job. For me personally, this NAB has really been a treat. I had the opportunity yesterday afternoon to be on the Broadcast Beat show, which is part of the NAB Live curriculum. Paul Richards and Tess Protesto were the hosts and did a fantastic job. We were talking about school broadcast clubs, and that was just so much fun. And to be there with Matt and Chad when they were talking about the work Matt working with kids, teaching them robotics, and Chad at the Tiger High School. I don't remember the name of the school, but all the things that they were doing with sports and the kids running the production high school level, it was a real treat. I was there to sort of represent the elementary age, because we just finished, or are in the process of putting the last finishing touches on a live streaming studio that we built for a local elementary school. It's run by 6th graders. That's 12 and 13-year-olds. Remember when you were 12 or 13? I mean, what kind of kid were you? Well, these kids are amazing. They're smart. They're articulate. They're sharp. They're good leaders. And this curriculum, I think, is just going to accentuate those qualities, plus give them opportunities to experience things that they haven't already experienced. For example, it's kind of public speaking, but it's kind of not. You know, they're in a studio, but yet at the same time, as a 12 or 13-year-old, they're in front of 600 of their peers when they do their morning announcements at the school. So, you know, no pressure. The fact that everybody in the school is going to make fun of you later. But, yeah, and so we've talked with them about how to articulate, how to have good volume, how to have good speed. And, you know, so we're slowing these kids down. We were doing it the other day. It was so much fun. We're saying, okay, we want you to speak like, I mean, I was really accentuating it because when they did it, it was a little bit faster. And then when they got into the live practice, it was even faster than that. But at that point, it was perfect. And to watch their little eyeballs when they saw the replay later and saw how well they did, their eyes just lit up. It was very rewarding, and we're hoping that our local county, Baldwin County, Alabama, will use this studio as a prototype and consider putting studios in other classrooms for that reason. Now, if they're doing it for the announcements, that's good, but think of all the other things you could do with a live streaming studio in a school. I mean, think about the continuing education you could do. Think about the shows that could come out where you're talking about different teaching techniques, things that are working. You can interview teachers and interview students. With vMix Call, you can bring one of the things the kids haven't done yet, but I can't wait until they do it, is to, for their morning announcements, bring the principal in to the morning announcements over vMix Call from her office. I think that's going to be really, really cool. Anyway, that was yesterday afternoon on the Broadcast Beat Show and was a ton of fun. And, you know, they asked me back again. So this afternoon, we're going to go back again. This time we're going to talk about church live streaming. And if there's anything near and dear to my heart, it's taking the message of salvation and hope and healing and peace to the whole world through church broadcasting. And you don't have to be a big church to do this. I mean, my church is a church with an average Sunday attendance of 35 folks. But by the end of the week, we'll have 100 or 200 folks that have watched the message from that past Sunday. And I know, because they've corresponded with me, some of the viewers are folks that are not from our area. They are in between churches, and they are virtually visiting our church so that they don't just dry up, so that they continue to be fed. And I think it's a great ministry for a church. It's also a great evangelistic tool. It's a great way for folks that are long-term ill and homebound, bedridden, able to continue to, at some level, participate in the life of the church and not feel so left out. I mean, there's nothing more left out than knowing that everybody else you know and love is somewhere else and you can't be there. But with live streaming, at least it's a little bit. At least it's a little bit. I mean, that's a great reason for putting a live stream set up in your church right there, just for the folks that are homebound. But what about for the folks that are traveling? What about for the folks that had to stay home with a sick child? And, you know, what about, here's the strategy. Oh, man, I love this strategy. I'm going to talk about this afternoon. So those of you that are hearing, just close your ears so you can hear it for the first time later. Here's the play. This is what they call it in Las Vegas. They call it a play. Here's the play. It's a Facebook play. When you go into church, the first thing you do before you mute your cell phone, and of course you are muting your cell phone before the church service starts, aren't you? Nod your head up and down. Yes, you are. Before you mute your cell phone, check in on Facebook at church. Yes, that's right. Because people are going to want to know, I mean, at least with me, they're going to want to know what kind of church would it take Tom Sinclair as a member. I mean, really. They want to see what kind of church that would be. And so if I check in at the church, what does that do? Well, that presents a link to my church. So they're going to go take a look at the church's Facebook page to see what kind of crazy church would accept this kook as a member. So they go to the page, and what happens on the page? Well, lo and behold, the church is streaming live. Well, this is great. Now I've got a chance to take a peek inside the church and see what kind of church would accept this guy. So they pop in on your service virtually. They're safe. They're secure. It's a low-risk environment for them. And, you know, that's great. Are they kind of a church voyeur? Well, maybe, but who cares? The idea is that they get an opportunity to sense and maybe taste a little bit what the church is like. Maybe hear a little bit of the sermon or other messages, hear the music, kind of decide, is this a safe place where I can come visit? Because everybody needs a safe place. So just by checking in on a Sunday morning, you have enabled this whole process to happen. Now, of course, your church has got to be live streaming too. So if you need help getting your church started with live streaming, you know you can contact me. Go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, and this is where I point to my URL in the corner, but I don't have my regular lower third up today. At least I don't think I do. Do I, Michael? No lower third. Okay. So it's easternshorebroadcasting.com, and there's a contact form there. You can shoot me a note on the contact form, and we'd be happy to talk with you about what it takes to get your church online with a live stream. Now, it may be that a local integrator provides the equipment and we just consult, or maybe we provide the equipment remotely and help you install it. There's a lot of money to be saved by doing it yourself, and we're happy to help with that. So this afternoon, I get to talk about church live streaming on the Broadcast Beat show at NAB. That's going to be at 3 o'clock Pacific time, which is 6 o'clock Eastern time. And you may just have to Google, like, you know, Broadcast Beat NAB show in order to get a link to that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Paul and Tess are going to be the hosts again. I know Tim is going to be there. Not Tim from vMix, but Tim from Magewell will be there. And I'm not sure who the third person is. It may be somebody from Easy Worship. Now, Easy Worship is a piece of software that allows you to display graphics up on a big screen. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. But Easy Worship also does NDI, so they can send the graphics that would otherwise go up on the live stream. I mean, on the projector there in the church, can also come into your live stream through vMix and through NDI. So anyway, we'll be talking about a little about that this afternoon. Now, coming up tomorrow, Thursday, is the last day of NAB. Yeah, and all this stuff gets packed up and sent home again until next year. So if you have any questions about what's going on here, especially, well, you know what? I'm not a good person to ask for questions, and let me tell you why. Because I don't get to see anything. Now, that's a plus and a minus. On the minus side, you know, I am in the vMix booth all day, every day. And by the time I'm out of the vMix booth, all the other booths have closed down. So from that perspective, I love it because I get to talk about what I love to talk about all day, which is live streaming and vMix and all the other cool stuff like Magewell and X-Keys and PTZ Optics cameras, those kinds of things. But the downside is that I don't get to see anything else here in Vegas. So if you're interested in what's going on and you want to know about something, go to the Streaming Idiots Facebook group and just post a question. Hey, has anybody seen the latest blank, blank, blank? And there'll be a bunch of folks that are here that will probably respond, and there may be other people that are not here but have watched a live stream from one of the other booths and can tell you what's going on in that regard. You're certainly welcome to shoot me an email and tell me what your question might be, and I might be able to point you in the right direction. Hang on a second. I got to get just a little bit of water. Oh, yeah. There we go. easternshorebroadcasting.com. And that really does end in a G, not an A, even though it looks like an A. It just got cut off. But so it's easternshorebroadcasting.com. Thank you, Michael. Well done. Yeah, the G is just cut off. Hang on a second. Oh, man. That is the best stuff in the whole world right now. So one of my favorite things from last night, let's go back to the Streaming Idiots meetup last night. You know who was at the meetup? I know you're guessing, and you're thinking, okay, was it Santa Claus? Was it Waldo? Who was it? Well, actually, it was Martin Sinclair. Martin came out to the meetup, and it was such a treat to see him here. And everybody is like treating him like a rock star. I don't know that anybody asked his autograph. They were probably intimidated because he's a pretty intimidating character. But he brought Dan here with him. Let me bring Dan in. There's Dan. Dan has been MIA for the last 24 hours, We didn't know where he was. We found him under the table here at the PTZ Optics booth. Apparently, he fell in with the wrong crowd. You know, that PTZ Optics crowd is a pretty wild crowd. And so he fell in with the wrong crowd last night and probably had one too many styrofoam daiquiris or something like that. Anyway, let's see. What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you? Oh, I know what I can tell you. Coming up right after this show, on the PTZ Optics show, they are having one of my favorite people as their guest. That's right, me. So make sure that you tune into the PTZ Optics show. I think you can grab it on Facebook, on their PTZ Optics, either the PTZ Optics page or their group. And Michael's nodding his head, so it sounds like both. Okay, that's good. And that's the way to do it. You know, why choose? Why choose where you're going to stream? In vMix, you can stream to 3 different locations simultaneously. You can start and stop them independently of each other. Michael and the folks here at PTZ Optics are using something called Easy Live to do their multi-streaming today. And so they can choose multiple destinations for the live stream. They can stream to a Facebook group. They can stream to a Facebook page. They can stream to YouTube. They can stream to a third-party independent CDN. Excuse me, goodness gracious. But why not? Why not? Why not go to multiple places? You want to be seen, go where people are. If you don't want to be seen, don't go where people are. But if you want to be seen, go where eyeballs are. Facebook, YouTube. Can't do Instagram yet. You know, we're still working on getting Instagram to let us come in with a live feed like that. It has to be from your phone. But you can do Twitter, you can do Periscope, you can do Twitch, you can be places. For me, I am not a marketing genius like Paul Richards and Tess Protesto. I'm a marketing idiot. But here's my marketing strategy. My marketing strategy is walk in the traffic. Go out into the middle of the street where all the cars are going by, and sooner or later a car is going to hit you. Yeah, now that's a little bit of a kind of a gross graphic, but the idea is go where people are. Put yourself in their path. Be friendly. Be nice, whether it's on video or whether it's with your website or whatever. Get where people are and be friendly and help them, answer questions, make helpful suggestions. Be a nice guy, and people will just gravitate to you. It sounds silly. It sounds counterproductive when you talk about all the things that you might learn in marketing school or you might learn on online about internet funnels and marketing strategies like that, you know, with Facebook or YouTube or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to being nice, to being a good person, and to letting people see that. Now, somebody asked me the other day, Tom, are you worried that your ego is out of check? Actually, this person was my wife, but and she asks me that on a regular basis, and she's probably watching right now, and I'm going to go back and find, you know, crumbs in my pillow or something like that when I get home. But the idea is, yeah, sometimes you have to be a little over the top. You have to be a little outside yourself in order for people to get to know you. If you stand there, mom, and not saying anything and kind of wallflower, you know, it's not going to work. You're going to have to, sometimes, for me, I have to force myself out of my shell. And you say, oh, come on, Tom. You know, you're not a shell guy. You're out there. You're doing it. No, I am actually a very shy individual, and I have to force myself. And here's the thing. When I'm doing it with people, here's how it goes. It's, hi, my name's Tom. And you'd be amazed how that works as a starter. Because what is the other person going to do? Well, hi, my name's Bob. Now, I know protocol is with a woman that you're not supposed to hold out your hand to shake her hand until she holds hers out. But this is one of those cases where I think, excuse me just a second. This is one of those cases where you break protocol. You're making friends. You're giving people a nice warm handshake. You're looking them in the eye. You're learning their name. You're remembering their name. If you have to say their name 3 times, do it. That'll help. And then you're just engaging them. Where are you from? What do you like to do? I do this all the time in the vMix booth. Are you using vMix? What are you using vMix for? Oh, man, that is so cool. Tell me more about it. You know, I was just talking to somebody that had put vMix into a radio station, and they had a whole slew of PTZ Optics cameras, and I think they had a couple other cameras of a different brand that I'm not going to mention, but they couldn't wait to tell me what they were doing with it. And I said, well, you know, how are you handling your audio? It's a radio station. So we talked a little bit about that. And what we found out was that they were bringing in a stereo pre-mixed audio feed when they could have been bringing in each microphone separately and then using vMix to switch camera shots based on the loudest microphone. So we had a great time talking about that and how to mitigate, you know, how somebody might talk over somebody else and how the camera might have to switch quickly. And we talked about some strategies to get rid of that. But it was so great to be able to find out what they were doing and allow me to invest in them a little bit with some suggestions. And now they remember me. And I certainly remember them. Plus, I got their business card in my pocket. So that is just the strategy. Make friends. Be friendly. Offer some help. Don't expect a big order in return. You know, give stuff away. Well, I don't have to say that here in the PTZ Optics booth because that's one thing that they are definitely known for is to give stuff away. Yep, here we go, including a PTZ Optics, what do you call this thing? A stress ball. Apparently, by squeezing this stress ball and pretending that it's Paul Richards' head, it will relieve all sorts of stress for you, those of you that work at PTZ Optics. So thank you, sir. We'll go back to you. All right. Very good. Michael, how are we doing on time? 12:22. We've got 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left. What are we going to do for 8 minutes? Well, I wish I had access to the chat because I would dearly love to see what you guys are saying. Now, I want to apologize because I think I screwed up on – am I allowed to say screwed up? Yeah, he says, okay. He didn't bleep me on that one. I'm allowed to say screwed up because I screwed up when I did the embed on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting Watch Live page because the chat is not working there. But if you're watching on Facebook group Streaming Idiots or the Facebook page Eastern Shore Broadcasting, the chat's working there, and I wish I was watching it so that I could chat back with you. But I will respond to your comments later. If you have any questions for me about NAB, go ahead and leave them there in the Streaming Idiots or the Eastern Shore Broadcasting Facebook group comments, and we'll be sure and respond to you. Let's see. Hang on one sec. Oh, nectar of the gods. Goodness gracious. Coming up next week on Streaming Idiots, we are going to actually, we don't have a clue what's coming up next week, but I've met so many people here this week that have such really cool implementations of vMix and or X Keys or PTZ Optics cameras or Magewell products that I can't wait to get on my show. So we're going to have a lot of users, a lot of use case studies coming up the rest of this spring and probably into the summer. I know I had a great chat with Daryl Spangler and Mary Spangler last night. They are the Mr. and Mrs. CEOs. She's probably the real CEO of the Magewell distributor here in the United States. Now, Magewell is a super product. They are so innovative, and they've got so many new things coming down the pike in terms of converting. And I know there have been a capture card and a capture device company in the past, but they are now into the conversion and the conversion to NDI, and not just any NDI, but the true full NDI, not NDI HX. So that means that whatever camera you've got, HDMI or SDI, you've got value in that camera. That value is not lost because you can get a converter and convert it to true NDI, which means that you're not adding any latency. You're getting the same latency as if it were SDI connected straight to your PC. So anyway, I'm hoping to get Daryl on the show. He's a little shy. You know, this guy's running this multi-million-dollar company. He has advised CEOs of other multi-million-dollar companies through the years, and he's a little shy about getting on video. So we're going to push him into it and try to get him on. He said, I think I can say this. I'm going to say it anyway, and if I screw up, then oh well. But he did say that they have, in about 2 months, they have a incredibly major announcement to make, and I can't imagine what it is. So we might have an Imagine What It Is show segment coming up on the Streaming Idiots here in the future. Thank you for joining me today here on Streaming Idiots. Coming up at 1 o'clock Pacific time, that's going to be 4 o'clock Eastern time, is the PTZ Optics show. Coming up at 3 o'clock Pacific, and that's 6 o'clock on the East Coast, will be the NAB show, where we'll be talking about church live streaming. And we hope, and those will be available on demand, so if you miss them at that point, you can go back and catch them later. Another sip of water. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Don't forget to make your plans for NAB next year. You know, treat yourself. Treat it like a vacation. Come out here. Go to Las Vegas. Have fun in Las Vegas. Go see the Grand Canyon. Go see the Hoover Dam. You know, pop on over to Disneyland. Make it a true vacation, but make NAB part of that process because of the people you meet. Yeah, the booths and the cool stuff is great, but the real icing on the cake, actually the real meat, is the folks that you're going to meet. Because I'd love to meet you, and I think I can introduce you to a ton of other folks that you will enjoy being around. Michael, so let's wrap this up. We're about at wrap time. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you to Michael for helping out with the production and making sure the audio was pristine. And one more ball. And so, hey, Paul, I understand that the PTZ Optics ball here, yes, that they have been, y'all remember Paul Richards from PTZ Optics?
Hello?
That the PTZ Optics ball
Did they throw
here,
that at you?
they threw it to me.
To you. Okay.
And they say that whenever the stress of being around you is too much.
I'm so glad they got those. These were actually for us back at the office because they keep popping them, squeezing them too hard. So we decided to bring the extra over to the booth.
Yep. So in the waning seconds here, let me give you a shout out, and thanks so much for offering your booth for our meetup last night. It was a ton of fun.
So much fun.
I can tell they trashed the place, and you guys haven't quite recovered from it.
No, we haven't.
There's mixed nuts everywhere.
I know. There's a stampede of mixed nuts.
Yes, indeed. All right, sir. Thank you. Yep. We're going to sign off now, and we will see you next week. And don't forget to tune in later. And we're up.